Ever wondered why people go on killing sprees?
Are you interested in exploring the paranormal?
Baffled by stories of previous lives?
Well, so are we.
In each episode, we'll be discussing the weird and wonderful stories of some truly confusing phenomenons and some horrific true crime cases.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and join us every Tuesday wherever you listen to your podcasts.
And be prepared to be totally and utterly perplexed.
Unlucky number 9. I'm Jason Horton.
I'm Rebecca Lieb.
And this is Ghost Town.
Many superstitions surround music history, but this one dates back a bit before the Gloomy Sunday Curse, the My Way Karaoke Curse, and even the 27 Club. It's called the Curse of the Ninth, and it's a haunting superstition that originated in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, during the late Romantic period of classical music. But don't let the archaic era fool you. This curse is anything but dry, suggesting that all composers die after completing their ninth, their final, symphony. With fame, superstition, and tormented geniuses fueling the fire of this curse's terror-inducing mythology, today on Ghost Town, the Curse of the Ninth. The Curse of the Ninth basically says that composers would die, or perhaps will die, after completing their ninth symphony, and has haunted composers for over a century. The belief gained traction courtesy of the extremely superstitious Austrian composer Gustav Mahler. Yes, the guy who was married to the fascinating subject of one of our more recent episodes, the episode on Alma Mahler. Anyway, Gustav Mahler saw a grim pattern in some of his colleagues, a pattern that suspiciously lined up with the completion of their ninth symphonies. According to Mahler, it all began with classical legend Ludwig van Beethoven. Beethoven's Symphony No. 9, called Choral, was revolutionary in its time, and right after its premiere, Beethoven began, as you might expect, working on his 10th symphony. Unfortunately, Beethoven was plagued with a mysterious health issue throughout the end of his life. He passed away in 1827 before finishing that number 10. As a note, Beethoven's last recorded words were, quote, "Pity, pity, too late," as the dying composer was told of a gift of 12 bottles of wine from his publisher, Schott Music. Next person was Franz Schubert, who died at the age of 31, hard at work on his ninth symphony. Schubert's life was also mysteriously cut short. Some people say that Schubert died of typhoid or mercury poisoning. Whatever it was Mahler's second example of the superstition's power. The next composer to submit to the curse was Anton Bruckner, who was famously obsessed with revisiting his works, especially his symphonies, and was deeply immersed in his ninth symphony when he passed away of congenital heart failure in 1896. In 1858, Vaughan Williams debuted his Symphony 9 at 86 years of age. However, he died very suddenly 3 weeks after following the premiere. According to a family friend, Vaughan Williams seemed completely normal the day before, and the next morning, he was gone. Another casualty of the curse. Now we get to Gustav Mahler, who was so freaked out by the curse that he tried to outsmart it. But did he? After finishing his 8th symphony, Gustav Mahler composed Das Lied von der Erde, a piece that's symphony adjacent, and avoided using the ominous number 9. Mahler didn't die, which he took as a good sign. So then he went on to write his actual 9th symphony without any issue. But as he began to work on his 10th, true to the curse, he died of pneumonia in 1911. So, is the curse real or not? Of course, many composers believed the curse was ridiculous, especially because it really only works as a very specific pattern within a particular group of European composers in the 19th and 20th centuries. You also might recognize some names of composers from this period who did not succumb to the curse. For example, Joseph Haydn wrote 104 symphonies before he died without issue. And then, of course, there was Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, who stopped after his 41st symphony. These were huge composers who seemed to do just fine past Symphony No. 9.